Hello and welcome to Friday Lines on a Thursday during the final series. I'm your host, Luke O'Brien, aka OB. Friday Lines is brought to you by Little Birdie TV, topsport.com.au, punting form and Manscaped, all your essential items for life. Joining me today for all things AFL is MG. Welcome, MG.
How you going, OB?
I'm battling, but we'll get through.
You look a little dusty. Did you go out last night or something? Come on, mate.
That's all right. It's the grand final week. We'll get ourselves through. We're almost at the finish line. And joining us for all things rugby league is Toprope. Welcome, Toprope.
Good to be here, OB. And not only will I be here for all things rugby league, so I'll have plenty to say about the AFL as well.
Oh, here he is, chiming in at the death. Haven't watched a game all year, and now you want to be, the spokesman.
We'll get the news out of the way early, and it's been a bit of a dark 24 hours for the AFL, that's for sure. And some of the stuff and the allegations that have been levelled at three individuals in particular from the Hawthorn Football Club is appalling, and I've got no words for it really. And Toprope, I think you're a bit lost for words as well about it all.
Yeah, it's been very much on brand for me to dish it out to the AFL this year, especially in relation to the NRL. But I absolutely flabbergasted at the seriousness of these allegations, and if they're proven correct. I don't understand I don't understand how such systemic racism and the only real word for it is the evilness of some of the behaviours, if found to be true, the removal of SIM cards, the recommending of breaking up with partners, the advocating of the termination of pregnancy. If this is all true, it's not only the three individuals, it's the system that allowed it to happen. I don't know enough about the AFL and how it works to comment on the in-depth of that, but from an NRL point of view and a rugby league point of view, and maybe it's a lack of sophistication in rugby league as to how deep things go and kind of how much clubs intrude into personal life, but that kind of stuff just doesn't happen. Take away all the racist stuff, like the NRL's and rugby league has long proven itself to be at the forefront of Indigenous relations, first Australian player, first Australian captain of Aboriginal descent. But I just don't understand, rugby league clubs just aren't run like that. And I imagine most AFL clubs aren't run like that either. But this is not the first time similar allegations have been made. I know that around the Adelaide, infamous Adelaide camp, stuff like this has happened as well. So it's shocking.
Yeah, I think for a competition that prides itself on family, inclusiveness, we've still got a lot of work to do. And so, hopefully out of all this, something can happen and change can occur. But the AFL has still got a lot of work to do for Aboriginal and First Nations people, that's for sure.
Yeah, not good. Hawthorn might have to rebrand themselves as well. They've been known as a family club for a long time, so it doesn't brand well for them. But yeah, they got some problems in that area. Find the timing of it coming out OB is not good for the AFL being grand final week as well.
It doesn't matter when it is. It shouldn't. It shouldn't occur. And I'm glad that Russell Jackson is a fantastic journalist. I'm sort of glad he sort of brought it to light. So hopefully now we can get to the bottom of all these issues. And as you said, Toprope, I don't think it's just Hawthorn. I think it's probably an industry-wide issue. So hopefully we can get to the bottom of it. And we've got some great people. Sean Burgoyne and Eddie Betts. So hopefully they can lead the way. And we can change this culture. Anyway, we'll get back to the on-field action. AFL Grand Final this week. Two best sides, Geelong and Sydney. Looks a beautiful game on paper. Superstars on every line, role players. It looks a really good game. Lance Franklin re-signed. A very well-timed press release. The Queen's funeral was on, and during Grand Final week for one more for the Big Budwar. And then the Brownlow medal as well. Patrick Cripps, I'm not sure who tipped him, but I'm pretty sure around this time last week someone tipped him. But anyway, we'll get that audio up at another time. But
I think Borko's lost that footage.
Yeah, has he? Yeah, that's convenient. But another big week, and looks like a great game on paper on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, he was in fine form last night. Cripps, he's celebrating long and hard, isn't he? Carlton function last night. He was in full flight. The Cripper, he's celebrating long and hard, and good on him. Yeah, congratulations to him. Worthy winner, or he had to even dice off the field. He was suspended and gone for the year. So, yeah, it's a crazy story all up that lawyer did some sharp work to get him off, and then he goes on and wins his Brownlow, beats his business partner and good mate Lockie Neal as well. So he's been celebrating quite hard with him as well. So congratulations to Crip.
That's right. And in the NRL top rope, the Final Four, North Queensland, Parramatta, the Panthers and the Bunnies. It's business end of the season, and the prelim final weekend's always a great weekend of sporting action.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we've got we're going to have a kind of fairy tale in the first final. The Cowboys returning to the grand finals, their their fourth grand final appearance if they make it. It's been an amazing rise from Todd Payton and kind of bringing these Cowboys back. The Cowboys were widely tipped at the start of the year, including by this so-called expert to win the wooden spoon. So such was the what looked like a pretty ordinary roster. So he's done an amazing job there. Well, Parramatta looking to end one of the longest final droughts in club history, in league history. Haven't won a grand final since 1986. They'll be looking to get there. And in the other one, we've got Penrith, been favourites for the entire season, looking to go back-to-back against South Sydney. These teams, of course, went in the grand final last year. Penrith eliminated South in the preliminary final the year before. So South's got a bit of revenge in their mind, but they've got their work cut out for them, that's for sure.
Looks a great game. I think the Bunnies will be up against it. President's Cup action this weekend as well. USA $1.12, the International $7.50, and the draws at $20. Top rope, anyone you're favouring there, mate?
Yeah, hard to go past the Americans. The $1.12 is probably overs. It all kind of crystallised a bit when the pairings for the foursomes on day one were thrown out there. This is a complete and utter mismatch. So, look, there's not much to do with the betting side of things. I'll be playing some numbers of kind of 20 plus US points. So I think this is going to be a fair hammering, to be honest. In terms of some bets around the place, I'll be taking Cameron Young as the top US wildcard selection. You get around the $6 mark on that. And the top international point scorer, I like Sanjay Im. And the top US point scorer, Justin Thomas. He won his PGA here in 27 at Quahala. It's going to favour length off the tee, but good all-round game. And Thomas will be paired with Spieth, and they don't lose too often in team stuff. So they're my kind of three little wagers there, and plus playing the hammering options. And
also the US Masters Club, you can join for $50 and your chance to join the Little Birdie crew in 2023 as we look at the Masters Club up there on screen now, MG, and I think you and Toprope are joining the crew.
Yeah, so we've lined up with ankle breakers there. So anyone who's keen about their golf or just has the Masters on their bucket list, they can go to Ankle Breakers and you join up to the Masters Club for $50, and that will get you a ticket into the draw to maybe join the great man Toprope playing golf in and around Gusto. It'd be great.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a trip, MG. My golf's certainly not up to scratch at the moment, but I'm focusing on first things first and trying to just build up the alcohol tolerance, because I feel it might be a few little beverages consumed over there. But no, look, it's going to be on every sporting event's bucket list to get to Augusta, certainly at the top of mind. So this will be my first trip there. I think your first trip as well, MJ?
No, I went there 10 years ago, Toprope. I thought I might have told you this story once or twice. You sharpen up on the drinking skills when you come out with me. No, I went 10 years ago with Scoot.
You were at the Adam Scott one. You're at the Adam Scott.
Went Nick to Heathcote. We went over with the Corey McKernan tour for 2013. Saw Adam Scott win. Lucky enough to be on the player hole in the background there where the putt was sunk. So, awesome experience. I've had a few mates go on tours since. I think Michael Caridi that comes on helps Toprope out in the Masters podcast here. He went in 2019, I think it was, when Tiger Woods won. So I've had a few mates go in other years as well. So I'm very much looking forward to getting back there and, going with an awesome crew. So anyone who is, as I said, any angle into the golf, whether you are a golfer or you just want to go to an occasion, this is golf's finest. So get around it. And, for $50, you'll get a run to go. And, we will look after you. That is for sure.
Sounds fantastic. NFL Week 3 kicks off tomorrow. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. Friday, 10:15 a.m. The Browns minus, there they are, the odds on screen there. The Steelers 266, the Browns $1.49, the line -4, and over and under 38 points even. Which way are you leaning there, Toprope?
Yeah, not leaning this way. All in here on the Steelers. I reckon they're a great bet plus, or no way I can take Jacoby Brissett laying more than a field goal here at home. Steelers are unbelievable as an underdog under Mike Tomlin, 46-23 and 2 against the number as a dog. Prime spotty for Pittsburgh. I think this number might be getting a little low too, at the 38. It's as low as we've seen all year, I think. But neither team, particularly Pittsburgh, have got many points in them. But I think over 38, I think that is a play in this one. So small, but Pittsburgh +4, strong bet.
And a reminder, Third and Long will be produced tomorrow. The new host, Grant Lee, 2 betting packages available for $22 a week. Toprope started 5 and 3. Jerry's 5, 2 and 1, providing all the betting action. And of course, can be found at topsport.com.au. But that's enough of the riffraff. We're into Friday Lines, brought to you by topsport.com.au, family owned and operated for 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with topsport.com.au. Kicking us off for this weekend is the North Queensland Cowboys, $1.70 against the Parramatta Eels, $2.20. The line -2.5, over under 42.5. Pull up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, Toprope. This looks a beauty, and the Eels have just found some form at the right time of the year.
Yeah, Eels have gotten hot. It's maybe a little too hot. It's I find it hard to believe they'll be able to get as wound up as they did last week. Last week was obviously a crucial game for them. Brad Arthur had not made a preliminary final throughout his tenure, despite many finals runs. They were absolutely geared up and they blew the Raiders off the park. 1, Cowboys are a much better team. 2, they're on the road here. And I'm not usually one to play conditions or to overread conditions a lot when it comes to rugby league. Yeah, the dimensions are the same, all that kind of stuff. But I do think it's worth noting this week. The Eels have been playing in Sydney most of the season. Been fairly of a wet or coolish. They're going to go play in very, very humid conditions and a very hot North Queensland, very hot Townsville on Friday night. I think that's going to have a negative impact. And we've got actually a good little guide to this one. When these two met this year, they met in Darwin, round 12, very humid conditions. Cowboys blew them off the park 35-4. Really well coached that night. Exposed the Eels on the wings. Both sides. The Eels like to play a very kind of aggressive up and in defence. Some nice little balls over the top of the wings and that sort of field there. So, I expect that the Eels will be able to counter it, but their weaknesses are 100% on their edges, particularly along the Blake's edge. So, I like the Cowboys. I like the Cowboys a lot here. Covered 13 of 17 at night this year. Covered 7 out of 25 overall. So they've just been underrated by the market all year. Eels covered just 3 of the last 11 off a double-digit win. Yeah, it's really the Cowboys have won 7 of 8 against Parramatta and Townsville. I'm going about the Cowboys. And I also quite like the over in this one. I think there's 4 of the last 5 have top 39 points from the two. The over is 8-2 when the Cowboys are scoring 30+, and it's hitting 5 straight Eels interstate games. So back in the over, can see it's going to be a bit tight, but like the Cowboys a lot. You're back in the -2.5, backing them straight out. I think this will be a good win for the Cowboys. I think for those after a little bit of the Rick Flair, 13+ Cowboys is the play.
Great analysis there from Toprope. So he likes the Cowboys and the over, so plenty of points there. As we look to the AFL Grand Final, 2:30 Saturday afternoon, the Geelong Cats $1.48, the Swans $2.70, the line -12.5, over under 164.5. Some injury worries at both camps. Max Holmes for the Cats and Sam Reid for the Swans. Which way are you leaning here, MG?
It's going to be a cracking game, isn't it, OB? I think, firstly, the weather's going to clear. So I think there'll be rain tomorrow, being Friday, and then there'll be some early showers maybe, but I think it'll clear to be a fine afternoon at this stage. That's the way I read it. I know a few reporters have come out in the last day reckon it's going to rain through the game, but I don't see it that way. So I'm keen on the total in this game to go over. I think there'll be points. In terms of the game, great matchup in it. Like, Geelong are obviously 15 games winning streak and Sydney are 9, so 25 straight wins between them. So they're both at the top of their powers. As you said, some slight injury concerns. I think Holmes will play for Geelong. But, even if he doesn't, they've got the backups that, it's going to be a minor disruption on their end. Reed's more crucial for Sydney if he doesn't play. Really upsets the balance as the second ruckman as well. So, the backups there with a Marty, if they choose to go that way, I think they lose more on that. So he's more crucial for Sydney in terms of more their structure around Hickey and how they have that backup ruckman. So that could be some concern. But in terms of the game, the betting's all been Geelong's way OB. Opened 7.5. It's now reached 12. I think that's kind of the mark that. I thought it'd be 12 to 14, so I don't think there's too much juice in it now. I think it'll settle down and be a good betting game. They started probably a little bit cheap on form. On straight out form, it's hard to go past Geelong right now. I'm kind of not hoping. Sydney are in it up to their eyeballs. I just think Geelong, at their best, probably have got it theirs to lose, I would say, at this stage at the moment. They've been dominant. They've had, 18 covers compared to Sydney's 13. So in terms of like how dominant they've been this year, obviously playing on their second home ground, they probably have a bit more of the crowd as well. Matchups everywhere. I think, I think Sydney's got the defense to maybe hold Hawkins and Cameron. Rampy's got an unbelievable record on Cameron. I think his last 5 or 6 outings, he's only given up about the same amount of goals. I think he got 3 kicked on him once. So I think Hawkins is going to be more the concern than Cameron. But it's going to be the supply, the battle of the midfield, contested ball, the MCG of how Sydney are able to keep it in tight for as long as they can and just cut the supply off as much as possible and play to their strength, force Geelong wide if they can. So, it's going to be a great match. I think there'll be points in this game, OB. I think 163, 164 is pretty much around the mark for a lot of if you go through the last 10 grand finals, that's pretty much the mark. I just see these two sides as being over teams, and I think they'll play that way. So good weather, and looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I think it's the team Geelong don't want to play, and having said that, it's a grand final. I think the pressure that the Swans put on, the fantastic pressure side them and Collingwood. We saw that last week. I think it might upset Geelong a little bit. I like the Swans. Look, Geelong have been the best team all year, but just in a grand final, I think the Swans can come out with the goods. But it'll be a great story.
I want to see Sydney come out with a bit of fire in the belly earlier. I think it's been missing in past grand finals. I don't understand, especially for the underdog. I think you can't come out and just let Geelong get into their rhythm and find their groove and play on their own terms. I'd love to get in the change rooms before, and maybe you can get down there, OB, since you're going to be at the game, and someone roll up Buddy Franklin, get him off a square, a bit of old school, and maybe put Selwood or Dangerfield on their seat of their pants early and just upset the rhythm of the game, especially early. So I'd be disappointed if I'm Sydney. Parker or someone like that really needs to go someone early and just show that Sydney are not going to take a backward step.
I think Buddy had the look in his eye last week. I thought he played really well last week, brought others into the game around him. An amazing stat that he and Joel Selwood are playing in a grand final against each other again 14 years after they first did it in 2008. No one has ever done that before. So it's a big game. I can't wait. As we look at the Norm Smith markets, very popular on grand final day. Dangerfield after his form last week, 750. My man Callum Mills at 950. Cameron at 950. Then double digits for Parker, Stewart, Heaney at 14, Guthrie 15, Tom Hawkins 16, and then Chad Warner at 17. There's a bit of value there.
I like for the Norm Smith. Wide open betting affair here, OB. I think it was 750 the field. I'm actually my top 2 picks. I'm going to go. It's been a midfielder's medal. I think the stats of forwards and defenders very bare in the cupboard. So if you're going to bet around this market, let's stay in the middle of the ground where the winners are most likely to come from. I think Cam Guthrie for Geelong is going to be my pick on the Geelong side at $15, and I'm a big fan of Warner on Sydney. I think $17 is a nice little price, and I think he's built for grand finals, Warner. So if you're looking for a bit of mid-range picks, Hawkins for Geelong. I reckon Tommy Hawk. I know you're playing up Franklin, but Hawkins up the other end. I think he's ready for a big one as well. $16. Gordon's my smoky for Sydney. Probably about the fourth mid in there at $41. I don't mind him. And just a little tickle out if you're looking for a real bit of Ric Flair, which Toprope likes. My picks for either side would be Smith on a wing for Geelong at $41 and also Blakey for Sydney at $51. I think just have a little tickle on there and hopefully get your cheer around the midfields. But, yeah, it should be a cracking contest. Always huge betting in the run, the Norm Smith as well. So if you're watching the AFL, check in at each quarter because Top Sport will have the odds right the way through. It's always a great betting event. And
first goal scorer also popular on grand final day with a few exotics as well. I think Jeremy Cameron at $7.75, Tom Hawkins also at $7.75. Then you got Birdie at 11, Tyson Stengel at 11, Heaney at 12, Papley at 12, Gary Rowan at 13, Hayward at 17, and Hayden McLean at $19.
Yeah, two picks. I would go. I don't mind Dangerfield. He's not on the list there. I think he would be on the next page. $19. Don't be surprised if Dangerfield starts forward. That would be my pick on the Geelong side, and I'm always a fan of Papley. He gets under the skin early. You can just see him kicking an early snap and getting the crowd into all kinds of raptures. $13. So, yeah, that would be my two picks, one for either side.
And Luke Parker at $31 kicked the first goal in 2016. So he has got some form there, Luke Parker. But looks a beauty. And just a reminder, topsport.com.au for all your AFL grand final betting action. As we look at the second preliminary final in the NRL is the Saturday night affair. The Panthers $1.36, the Rabbitohs $3.20, the line at -8.5, over under 40 points even. Toprope, please tell me that the Bunnies are a chance. I know they're up against it. Have you given us any hope?
I'm not going to give you any hope. I'll give you a big hope. Big hope in this one. I am not sure about winning the match. I think there's certainly a touch of value at the price. I see this being a tight, hard-fought affair. Just a little recap of Penrith in finals over the last 3 years. They've kind of been portrayed as this dominant team. Well, certainly they've lost a grand final, they've won a grand final, they're short price favourites to win on the premiership. They've played 9 finals. There's 6 wins. So the 6 wins have been by 6 points or less. They've lost 2, and their only win of more than a converted try was last start against the Eels. They trailed 8-7. Mitchell Moses got hit high, went off hurt with a HOA, didn't come back, and they blew him out late. So Penrith are not a team to blow opponents away. These guys have played a lot of tight games, particularly the big finals, the preliminary final 2 years ago, the grand final last year. They've been close, low-scoring matches. Panthers have not won any of their 10 matches against South ANZ by more than 4 points. The +8.5 here is a very, very good bet. I'll be jumping all over that. South are good as a dog. They're very good. They've covered 8 of 10 of the ANZ. Panthers, they've covered just 4 of 12, conceding 8 or fewer. I'm a little concerned how underdone Penrith could be coming this one. They're going to be up and about. There's no doubt about that. But they've played one hard match in 4 or 5 weeks. They rest their players the last week. They played the Eels, had a week off. I'm a little concerned about that. So I'm backing South with a +8.5 here. I think they can win. I think there is some value at the head-to-head price, but the real value is the +8.5 here.
I like it when you talk like that, Toprope. The tone of voice just goes into serious finals mode. And when you say that the Bunnies are a chance, it certainly gets my juices flowing. So looks a great game Saturday night. Not that anyone in Melbourne will be watching; they'll be out celebrating after the AFL Grand Final. But I'll be watching Toprope. I'll be tuned in, mate.
I'll be watching. Someone's got some Ric Flair premiership action going, so we've got to get them through to the final.
Well, they will jump favourites MG if they are in the grand final. That would be my prediction. If South upset Penrith, South will be favourites for the grand final. Whoever wins this one will jump premiership favourite.
Okay. Oh, now I'm getting excited. I'm looking a week ahead, 1 week at a time. But that's all for today's Friday lines. Thanks, Toprope. Reminder that the GGOA can be located for $22 a week in the littlebirdie.live shop for all your NRL betting action, and MG, the AFL stings for $22 a week in the littlebirdie.live shop as well. I think there's some AFLW stings in there as well for all the listeners. But thank you, Toprope. Another great weekend of sporting action beckons.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. Can't wait. A couple of big prelims, and we get the encore with grand finals this week, and we get the main meal next week. NRL, very exciting.
We'll leave it there, I think. MG, another great weekend of AFL action. What are you doing for the grand final, mate?
Working, be in the office. Yeah, got lunch before and dinner after, but I'll come back to the office to watch it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Hopefully there's a little bit of money in your pocket at the end of the game. But that's a wrap for this week's Friday Lines. Thanks to MG and Toprope. Thanks to Borco on the panels. You can follow us on YouTube, find us in the Apple Store, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, wherever you listen to all your good podcasts. Follow at Little Birdie TV on Twitter and Instagram. Remember, all your footy betting action can be found at topsport.com.au. We'll be back for the last show next Friday, the big NRL Grand Final preview. But Nicky will be back on Monday for the first look at the weekend's action and review. Punt well, punt responsibly, and have a great weekend, punters.